Hey guys, so today we're looking at the new Banlist, and it just came out today, and it's effective in 3 days. So, I'm just going to go through it so you guys can hear my own input on it. So, in the Forbidden, we have Damage Juggler, Plush Fire, Ptolemaeus, Chicken Game, and Wavering Eyes. Damage Juggler wasn't really reasonable to ban. I think they could have just hit Plush Fire and maybe limited or semi-limited Damage Juggler, since it wouldn't be able to search out the main card it goes for. And also kills the actual Before Mage deck if anyone actually does that. Plush Fire was completely reasonable to ban because it just gets destroyed and then you search out, well, you special summon another Before Mage, and it doesn't matter if it was destroyed as a monster or a pendulum because it says when this card is destroyed. Ptolemaeus, I guess they really didn't have too much of a choice when it came to this card because it made something like Cyber Infinity viable for any deck that can get enough level 4s out quick enough. I guess it was a bad call on Konami to make this card, to be honest, but yeah, it had to be banned. Chicken Game did not have to get touched at all, to be fair. It did enable a lot of FTKs, but they could have hit other cards that were in those FTKs, like the Magical Explosion FTK. That's the one it's mainly used in. They could have hit Magical Explosion or hit Royal Magical Library. Chicken Game is easily one of the most balanced cards in the game. They could have hit any other card in the FTK, to be honest. Wavering Eyes, I felt could have been limited because it's a decent card. I think when it was originally made, it was intended on destroying pendulums rather than being turned into a card that made them even faster. Luster Pendulum, putting it to 1 is a good choice. Well, actually, let me go through the limited list. Luster Pendulum, as I just said, is limited. Monkey Board, Skullcrobat, Joker, Wisdom Eye, Norden, Thousand Eyes Restrict, Ignister, Draco Face-Off, Reasoning, and Upstart Goblin. Like I just said, putting Luster Pendulum was a good call because it gave you the option into any of the 3 extra deck Draco Fusions. Draco extra deck cards. And it's just overall, and also its pendulum effect, which is just like pop your other scale and search out another card. Putting Monkey Board to 1 was also a good call because it's really just a 1-card scale with Skullcrobat, where you just set it, search out Skullcrobat, set Skullcrobat, and there you go. And now Skullcrobat itself, I'm gonna say it didn't have to be put to 1. Actually, I think 2 would have been decent enough, if 2. 1 is a bit harsh on that card because it's not an instant scale like Monkey Board was. Wisdom Eye Magician, I guess it's understandable why they put to 1, because if you open a hand that's like 2 Wisdom Eye Magicians and you just set them, pop them, and set Dragon Pulse and Dragon Pit, that's pretty unfair. So putting it to 1 was basically the best choice. It's much better than getting banned. Elder Entity Norden, putting it to 1. A couple lists ago, you guys might remember there was an equip spell that just like summoned 3 monsters the same name for your grave, and that card was actually hit because of Norden coming into the game, and now they're also hitting Norden. I don't really know how to feel about this hit. I guess it's understandable, but at the same time it's not. Thousand Eyes Restrict coming back is really awesome. On one side, it's completely not used at all, and in its time, it was super broken. And now it coming back, it's people probably aren't going to use it at all, so it's good that they're bringing cards back that aren't going to really even see play. Especially cards that are forbidden and are basically considered useless in these days. Mr. Prominence, the Blasting Draco Slayer. Super good hit. I love it being put to 1 because its effect doesn't target. It gets you out more Draco Slayers. This card was basically what made Draco Pals and Before Mage, or Pepe, one of the most annoying decks ever, because they could just spit this guy out so much. Putting him to 1 is so good, because they can't just like, oh, you destroy one of my Nisters, I'm just going to make another next turn. No, you only have 1 now. That's a good call. Draco Face Off was, honestly, I could say it's fine at 2. Especially with Luster Pendulum now at 1. It's not that big of a deal. That's just my opinion on that call. Reasoning. Reasoning was actually played in Cosmo, Monarch, and Infernoids. But Infernoids aren't nearly as relevant as Cosmo and Monarchs, but again, it being hit, sort of reasonable, I guess. Not that big of a deal, though, because, it wasn't that, I don't think it was that important, because Reasoning was actually more of an optional card to play than a mandatory thing. Upstart Goblin to 1. This is actually really unreasonable and just really stupid. Sure, it made people's decks 37 card, but it's not like the card was unbalanced or anything. It's honestly one of the stupidest hits I've seen ever. In the semi-list, we have cards actually 2 cards back to Breeze Dragon and Allure of Darkness, and 1 card from Unlimited, Emergency Teleport. So to Breeze Dragon, it sees no plays anymore, so that's not really a big deal. Allure of Darkness to 2 is super huge, because Allure of Darkness at 1 didn't really mean much, but now that you can do this, get like 4 draws out of this thing, it's actually going to help a lot of decks out, and that's pretty good. Emergency Teleport to 2. It's gonna hurt Super Quantums, Cosmo, and the oncoming Metamorphosis. But at the same time, putting it to 2 is not that big of a deal. It's not gonna hurt the decks too much. But it's gonna slow them down. In the Unlimited, we have Demok, Dragoidia, Advanced Ritual Art, and Crush Card Virus. So with Demok, its effect after its errata put it to only being able to be used once per turn, and you only get the spell at the end phase, so bringing it back to Unlimited, now that's pretty cool, especially since it's basically useless now. Dragoidia going to 3, no one plays that card anymore, so I guess that's alright. Advanced Ritual Art, I actually had to look this thing up to see what it did. I had no idea that this thing even existed. So I can easily say not big of a deal again. And Crush Card Virus coming to Unlimited that's alright. The card's not that great anymore. It's not a big deal. The effect's still pretty decent, but it's not a great card anymore, so bring it to Unlimited is good. Alright, so my overall opinion of the ban list is it slows down the meta enough that duels don't end by turn 3 in most cases, and it also brings back cards that deserve to come back now that they're not that great anymore. So bringing those cards back doesn't really affect the game. They just deserve to come back. And hitting cards that basically turned Yu-Gi-Oh into your opponent either OTKs you on their first turn or you OTK them on your second turn. It's so good that most of those cards are hit now because it's not going to be that type of game anymore. That's pretty great on Konami's end. This is actually a really great list. And I look forward to seeing whatever comes next for Yu-Gi-Oh! So as for my followers in general, I'll be coming back with Link to the Past again soon. As for some other ideas that I mentioned previously, like reaction videos to random stuff, type of shit. So, alright guys, until next time.